Hey guys, what's going on? Okay, so this video, we are going to disseminate all the information we have from our range video over our, basically our final chapter of the, which one is this? See, they're very similar, you know, you can tell by looking. But anyway, the Colt M4 and the PSA M4, okay? We've already gone over before the Chinese ACOG, okay? And just quick spoiler alert for those that haven't seen that video on it. We basically said that the clone, the Chinese clone of the ACOG is good for plinking and having fun and stuff like that, but not for serious work, okay? Somebody in that video had a very good question of saying, well, are you saying that the rifle is not that great just to have fun but not serious? It's not accurate. Is the rifle or the optic or what's going on? That video whole thing was about the optic itself. The rifle has been shooting very well, both the Palmetto State and the Colt, okay? So to kind of wrap up, I could go on and on and on and get tons of different ammo from every different conceivable manufacturer and never be done testing these two things. But I'm going to finish all this up in my mind, in my opinion on these things. And if something changes later, I'll tell you. But that's what this video is about, is just finalizing the clone wars that I have between the Colt and the PSA, okay? In this video, if you already seen the range video, which I'll put that out before I do this one, obviously, I wanted to give them both the best chance that I possibly could as far as accuracy, because that's kind of what the whole thing was. Both the guns ran fine. I don't think I really ever had much of any malfunction, you know, so the rifles themselves ran well. And so I put on, for each one of them, well, I put it on one and then I took it off. I don't have two of these, you know what I'm trying to say. But this is a Bushnell Elite, what is it? The Bushnell Elite 3200. I don't know if you would see that or not. Elite 3200. It's a good scope. It's a fixed 10 power scope, 40mm objectives. Got big old mil dots in there. Probably won't be able to see it. You probably hate when people do this because you can never see, kind of like that. Anyway, it's not a target scope. They're kind of thick-ish reticles. They're not. It's not for like precision target kind of stuff. I've used it for hunting. It's a great scope. It's a solid scope. I really like it. Kind of, I guess maybe kind of heavy, I don't know, but it's a tank. That's what I like about it. But it did very well. It's done very well for me in the past before, holding its zero and stuff. So we started out with the PSA, then we went to the Colt. Let's look at the targets that we got behind me over here. We'll look at those and we'll see what we got. All right, let's break down this last little bit for the clone wars that we got going on, the PSA versus the Colt. Let's break it down here, okay? So this is the PSA with the Bushnell Elite 10 fixed power scope, shooting the Federal 55 grain stuff, okay? I tried to do my best on here and just let the rifles speak for themselves, and we'll see what actually they got, okay? It was funny is that, what was it? I think my first shot, I was aiming here and it struck up here, but I kept my point of aim, and then I adjusted the scope and ended up getting closer on, but whatever. Anyway, the groups, it doesn't change the fact of the size of the groups, but the point of aim is going to be a little off. But y'all know that. Okay, so here we go. Starting off, we have a 2.62. All right. And then, what's that? Nope. A 2.23. Interesting. All right, over here, we got a, what is this? Let's see. Right at 2.5. 50. Down here. That's bigger. 2.17. And what's up here? Okay, we got one right off the corner of the edge. Can you see that in the camera? Yeah, okay. So we got one right off the corner, it looks like. And that's not a very good group. Wow, that's bad. 376. Okay, and I'm not that good at math to estimate these or to average them all together, but I will annotate that somewhere. But anyway, that's what we got with the Federal 55 grain, and then we went straight from that to shooting just a small variety of ammo. Okay, and the scope was mounted on there pretty good, so I'm not going to call this foul play on the scope. I'm just going to say this is what it is, and that's what it is, okay? So here we go. The Wolf Gold 55 grain stuff was shooting a 2.88. Alright, same stuff, Wolf Gold. Basically the same stinking thing. It's depending on how you measure it. Oops, make sure I didn't bump that open. Nope. 2.94. Ugh. Alright, Free Munition M855. Wow. That is like the exact same thing as this. Huh. 2.93. Okay. IMI M193. That's coming in a little bit better. 233. With 2 rounds very close down here. See, this is what I look for. Stuff like this, like the potential of the gun to shoot a lot better on here versus like this. Like you can see this is, even though with this one guy, that's better than if you take one of these guys out of any of these equations. It makes me think that that ammo is just going to be a little bit better than that. Anyway, whatever. Doesn't make a lick of difference though. Because then right across the page, that exact same ammo was shooting a 4.13. Horrible. 4.13. Ugh. That's nasty too. So we'll average those together and you'll see what that is right there. So there you go. So that's what this guy's doing. Now, let's move over to the Colt. Exact same thing. Alright, we're going to go with, make sure you can see that in frame. There you go. Alright, the Colt. Federal 55 shooting through the Bushnell Elite 10 fixed power scope. This is all Federal 55. And we've got, what we got. Pretty good. 122. 1.22. Alright, over here we've got that's going to be right at 1.97. 1.97. Right in the middle. Got a better one. 167. Down here, yep, 254, and right down here, a little bit bigger. Looks like a, oops, nope, not that big. 266. Okay. There we go. And then moving on to the little bit of better ammo. I think this was shot in the same sequence as the other one. This is a stray round from something else that didn't count. But the Wolf Gold, make sure that's all in frame. There you go. Alright, the Wolf Gold is shooting at, let's see, about the same. 130. 1.30. Alright, and then over here we got 179. Alright, and those were Wolf Gold. Okay. Free Munition M855. That is going to be right at 195. 1.95. And the IMI 55, got a good group here. Yeah, that's really good. 1.06. Same exact stuff. This happened to the other one. You got a really good group, and then you get a really crappy group. We got a 3.14. 3.14. Huh. Isn't that interesting? I find that happens a lot. It's kind of weird. That's why it's good to shoot a couple groups of the same thing, because you could have a really good group and a really crappy group. So there you go. So we will average those together and see what we got again. All right, I've had it annotated when I was doing the targets. Okay, so you already know, but I'm reading it off here. The PSA was shooting combined. If you average both of the quality ammo or whatever, the spicy ammo, whatever, and then the federal stuff, and then the Colt, the same thing. You average both of those. The PSA was shooting an average of 2.84 inches. Okay, with the good with the good stuff, whatever, and then with the just the federal 55 grain stuff, and then the Colt, same thing, averaging it out, was shooting a 1.92. So the PSA was a 2.84 again, and the Colt was a 1.92. So in this range session, and then with this ammo, I didn't even do Wolf and Tula, which I did a crap ton of that before. Okay, it'd be interesting. I'm out of that stuff, so I can't shoot it right now. That's why I didn't bring it at the range and stuff. But that is interesting to see beforehand, every time we went out. I think it was every time we went out. You can look back, I'm not going to look it all up, but I think every time we went out, the PSA with the cheap Chinese clone was shooting just a little bit better on every kind of ammo that we used. And I think we used all this ammo before, I think. Could be wrong on that. But on every kind of ammo before, it was shooting just a little bit better than the Colt. And now, switch scopes on both rifles, okay, then the Colt is shooting right near an inch better than the PSA, okay? And that's the rifles for rifles speaking for themselves, using the exact same optic, and this thing was hooked on there good, you know, that's just what it came out to. So, what am I going to say? Like, my take on the whole thing, like, which one wins? On the battle between our Palmetto State and our Colt, basically I'm going to say this. For the money you're going to pay for a Colt set up like this, you're going to pay right near about $1,500 for something like this, okay? Depending on the, like how much you get the rifle for, okay? You can get an LE 6920, catch them when you can get them, but you can get them for about $600, okay? The police trade-ins, I saw it, no joke, the other day for like $5.99 or something like that. If I had not already got this, I would have jumped on that, because that would be awesome. That would be a rifle that has history with it. You know, it's not a new manufacturer Colt. You know, it's a good tried and true Colt. It's got some battle scars on it, and it has some good history to it. Okay, and that was cheaper with all the furniture, not the Knight's Armament rail and stuff, but it had the stock and all that. It was cheaper than buying the OEM. I don't remember if it was OEM 1 or OEM 2 of the Colt. All right, it was cheaper than getting that, so you could definitely save several $100s by getting a used one, okay? And then finding them on the used market is a good thing to do too. But for $1,500, have something like this, or depending on your deals, depending on what you get, same basic thing, minus the quality of the optic. Obviously, we already talked about that. This thing's about $500, okay? Like, you can get the upper, you can get the rifle kit, excuse me, the rifle kit for, I think right now it's like $320, $330 or something like that off of Palmetto State, the rifle kit. So like $320, $330, let's say $330, I can't remember. I know it's not $350, it's like 3 something. I'm gonna say $330 just to be safe, with free shipping. So $330 plus an Anderson lower, which I ended up paying probably about $40 by the time it was all said and done. So $370. A friend of mine gave me this rail. I don't know exactly how much it would be. It's not, you know, an uber expensive rail. I think it's just a UTG something. So we were at $360. Let's say we're at $400 for everything that would be in here. $400, $91 for this, depending on if you actually, this isn't even a Knight's, these are Knight's. I had these sitting around. You know what I'm trying to say, okay? Right at about $500, depending on what parts you get used, what parts you get. If you got the $50 version of this, which is probably the same thing, then you'd definitely be right at $500. So you could get 3 of these for the price of the Colt. So what I'm going to say is, depending on what you're going for, if you're going for a true blue kind of clone build, well, you have to stick with what you got, an FN or a Colt. Basically, you get those are your options, depending on what clone you're going for. But if you're wanting a rifle that's going to shoot, and it's going to work, and it's going to work fine, and it's going to work just as well as anything else out there, I can't tell you not to buy a Palmetto State rifle. I mean, I really can't. It shot very, very well. With all the other ammo, with everything we put it through, with a crappy Chinese optic, the Palmetto State did very well. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is a better rifle than a Colt. I'm not going to say that, because I'd have to put thousands and thousands of rounds through this thing, see which one breaks, see which parts break, what wears out, what da-da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? But for the money you're going to spend, and if you're just an average shooter, you're going to go out and shoot here and there, you know, whatever. You're not going to, you know, this thing's not going to get run over by a tank or anything. Then go buy yourself a Palmetto State. You know, invest the rest, you know, invest the other $1,000 in a couple cases of ammo, you know, go get some more gear. I should go take classes and stuff, but I don't. But if you have that, you know, if you have the time and you can get off and go do that, go take a class. You know, for that cost, for the cost of buying this, like I'm trying to say, and I'm probably beating a dead horse, for the price of buying the Colt that I have set up the way that I have, basic, no frills, except for, I mean, the Trigicon is what a big chunk of that. For that price, you can build you a brand new Palmetto State rifle, get you a couple thousand rounds of ammo, probably get a hotel room depending on how much it is and where you're going, and take a class. That's pretty hard to beat, okay? And then knowing that the gun, me knowing, you not knowing, you got to do your own testing and whatnot, but knowing that the rifle is going to do it's going to do well, okay? And I even took my hacksaw to this thing and cut this thing down, okay? So it doesn't have a factory crown on it and all that kind of stuff. The Colt does. It came 14.4. Didn't I bought the 14.5 inch barrel and put it on there, but it's a factory cut 14.5 inch barrel. You know, this is not. So anyway, I hope that was informative for y'all. I'm not trying to bash Colt in any way, shape, or form. I don't know anything about their company right now. I don't know, but we all know the quality that Colt has been and possibly still is today. I don't know. But their rifles are awesome. They're expensive, but they're really cool. But then again, you can just go get you something cheap like this and still have the same amount of fun. All right? You can't brag about it being a Colt, but you can brag about it shooting just as good. Depending upon the shooter. That's the big thing. It all depends on the shooter. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoy this series. I hope y'all enjoy the Clone Wars and stuff like that. What we'll probably end up doing with this guy is taking a hacksaw to it again, because as you know, I have, if you've been following me, you know that I'm working on the Mark 18. Okay, we got the Mark 12 taken care of. Now we got the Mark 18 coming up, and basically, if I was to cut this guy off back here and make this a 10.3 inch barrel, that's looking real tempting. Because I've already cut it, all right, and I'm not going to sell this upper. And if I was, it's already cut, so what's the harm in cutting it again? I don't know. So anyway, y'all stay tuned for that. That Clone War will be coming up again before too long, before y'all know it. But like I said, I hope y'all really enjoyed this. Stay tuned. Instagram. I'm trying to put some more stuff up on there, so if y'all want to try to stay a little bit more connected, I'm trying to stay more connected with y'all, really, and just putting more stuff out there so it's more content, okay? Not just, you know, once in a blue moon getting a video. It's a lot easier to post a picture of what I'm doing versus making an entire video of it. So check that stuff out. All right, enough yapping. Y'all be good, you be safe. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video.